There we go. I've just done the.
Okay, we should have a little push notification now.
Probably on my phone because I've not muted it.
Hello. Can anybody see us?
Oh, I've just had one on the tablet.
Have you? Does that mean we're live?
Yes, I'd like to think so.
Well, I think everything's sort of moving up and down the bars and stuff. Andy, just give us a quick hello and all that.
Hello and all that.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy New Year to you too.
And to you.
Oh, lovely.
Yes.
Iranu.
Oh, I haven't. The only thing I haven't been able to do, Carlos, is I haven't been able to do the clock. Oh, sound's working.
Yeah,
it
we're
seems.
definitely
we're
working.
definitely sending sound.
Yeah.
So yes, so this is very exciting because I'm in Carlos's studio.
Yes, he is. He's sitting in the hot seat tonight. I'm sort of shotgun.
Yeah. So as I say, unfortunately I haven't got a Dubry.
Something to read the show notes on?
That too. But there's no countdown clock because I forgot to do the list thing, and I haven't got time to do it now before we need to start.
Oh, that, yeah.
So try and remind me before we go. So we're going to try and press the button and start on time.
Chat room's filling up.
Yes.
Nicely.
Here we go. Right, here we go. 15 seconds. No clock.
Should we do the beep, beep?
Sure.
10, 9,
Yeah.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Stop talking. Okay, balls that up. Hang on. 1 second.
Ah.
Oh, why is it not doing... Oh, hang on. Sorry. Technical problem.
This is quite entertaining to just watch.
Is it? Thanks for that. Let's try that. It's not letting me restart. Oh, there we go. That's fine. Okay, we'll try that again.
This is better than the Sim session.
Right, okay. Bring the fader up. We'll say 5. I forgot about faders. 5, 4, 3...
.33 as Matt pulls the faders up of our first live show in 2025. We'll leave that in. That's part of it.
I've forgotten how to do it.
That'll be part of the bloopers reel for this year.
What, on episode 1. Brilliant.
On episode, the first episode of the new year, exactly. So what we got this week, we have got news on... as he looks through here, Japan retiring their 777, their last 777. We've also got news on BA's loyalty points program, and we've also got some news as well on some changes to Ryanair's boarding passes that could save you money. Yes, you heard me right, save you money. I know. Something you don't really put with Ryanair, I suppose, do you, normally. Also, in the military this week, Mirage fighter jets land in the Ukraine, and we do a follow-up on the British Air and American pilots that were teaching the Chinese Air Force a couple of years ago. Well, here we go. Joining me this week in my studio at home, studio... PTUK Master Suite Studio point one is Matt Smith. Hello, Matt. You're in charge tonight.
Yeah, I know. It's just all a bit strange, but I'm in Carlos's studio because we're just trying to iron out some of the technical creases that we've been having in here. So we're trying to make it so that I am here. Sorry, wrong camera. There we go. This is all going really well, isn't it?
Camera one.
Indeed. On this, hello. What's this I got on my? Oh, hello. What have I got on my?
Oh
dear.
my word, what's he got on his face?
I don't know.
He didn't go to makeup before we went live
I
tonight.
didn't. You're right. I didn't. Absolutely not.
And yes, also thanks for joining me, by the way, Matt.
Very
in
welcome.
studio.
Yes,
So
just
good to
trying
see
to, as I say, make it all work for you, so that if I'm not here, it's not lots of panicky phone calls.
Now, you may notice that tonight will be short of a few hosts. Nev is unfortunately stuck. Where Nev is stuck somewhere, isn't
Somewhere in Wales. I think
in
he said,
Wales somewhere. Nev is stuck in Wales somewhere. And Nick can't be with us because Nick's on his 4 millionth day without internet.
actual internet. Yeah, absolutely. Are we allowed to name the company that he's really cross about?
I said this to Nick last night, actually. I said, because the company that I'm with is the same company that that Nick's with.
Indeed.
And touch wood, because I've got some wooden desks here.
Why?
Touch wood, I've never had any issues with the company. And when I do have an issue in the past, when we first got with them, I threatened to leave, and then they gave me loads of free stuff. So,
okay.
But yes, Nick's not with us this week, but we have obviously got back someone who's a very important part of the team because basically he knows what he's talking about. Is of course
he's the only one who does.
He's the only one who does. Is our very own Airbus captain and sim training captain. It is of course Andy. Hello, Andy.
Hello. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
How you doing?
Oh yeah, it's Happy New Year, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It looks like I'm sat in a massive room here.
It
now.
does. It looks absolutely. It's working really well.
Have you got a green screen as well, Andy?
Nope.
Have you invested? You've not invested in the green screen.
No, because if I had a green screen, I'd disappear in with his jumper.
He's wearing a green jumper for
green
those who are
jumper.
listening to the audio version of the show.
Yes. But no, it's nice to be back. I've been very busy. Apologies for my absence.
Outrageous, honestly.
Can I just point out, Andy, that you've got probably one of the best backgrounds I think that you could ever wish to have on a show.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Okay.
And Beans' Jet 2 retired their final one over to St Athan this week. That was shown on the Airliners Live feed today. They retired their last one. I think it was I think it was the same livery as the one that you've got on your background. It was that silver. I forget which registration it was. I should have.
I thought they were all silver, to be honest, but obviously
here we go. It was Alpha India, Golf Lima Sierra Alpha India that was flown.
Which I believe, which is the one on my background.
Oh, there we go.
It's like he did the research, Carlos.
No, it's good. I always preferred that livery to they done that kind of all coloury holiday livery, and I never did like that livery at all. I think it always looks good with the grey.
It's very, very like Allegiant in the US. That livery, exactly the same.
Yeah.
But yes, this is the aircraft I always wanted to fly, that I dreamt of flying as a child, and I never got the opportunity. I've flown the sim, and I've instructed in the sim many times, but I never flew the real thing.
Oh, no. Well, that's a shame.
Sad face.
I know. Sad,
and the problem is now, Andy, with Jet 2 retiring their last one now, there's no more UK commercial passenger operated 757s, in the country. So
all gone.
All gone.
I will miss that very distinctive sound of the RB211 in Manchester.
Yes.
It's a beautiful sound.
You know you're going to have to do now, Andy?
What?
Move to flying cargo.
I'm all right. Thanks.
Yeah, he's suddenly very over it.
Yeah. Well,
just some points of note on that last aircraft, the last 75 that was flown out of Manchester today to St Athan. That was line number 150. Was obviously a 757-200, as we said. First flew back on the 8th of the 10th, 1987. That aircraft currently sits at just over 37 years old.
Cool. I was 2 years old when that first flew.
Captain Crew says there are still 5 DHL freighters, you see.
Yeah, they fly over here quite regularly, actually, Captain Crews.
And those are very early. They're ex-BA off the production lines. They were very early numbers on them.
Yeah, some of those in the 40s in years old. But as you said, Andy, powered by two Rolls-Royce RB211-535 E4 engines on those. And
John Jester in the chat room, by the way. Any chance you could tilt your camera down by any chance? Is that something that you could do, or is that a technical step too far?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I mean, I could.
It's just chopping your chin off, if you see what I mean. When I pop a graphic up, you see, we don't want that. Oh no, it doesn't like it. Oh well, never mind. We tried. It's all right. It's when I get the emails from producer John.
It now.
There you go.
He's sitting upright. Oh, that's very good. Look at that. It's good for the posture. Anyway, John Jester is saying cargo is much easier, Andy. Apparently, they don't argue back.
That's very true, but I really can't be bothered with another type rating.
Yeah, it was fair. Yeah, fair. And one of the other things saying in the chat room here is John Falker said it's actually older than some of the listeners. I think he's probably right.
Yeah,
definitely, probably right on that one. Oh dear.
it is a shame that we won't see these again anymore at Manchester, unless they're passenger ones, cargo ones that are flying in, like I said with DHL. But if you want to see more 75s, you can always go over to the US, where there's loads of them.
There's still plenty of them.
There's still plenty of them right there. Yeah.
Jolly good. Remind me to avoid the US.
Avoid the USA, exactly. But we are at the beginning of the month. It is the
oh wow!
month,
No, I'm not ready for that.
He's not ready, so I'm going to have to do a massive lead in now to this.
No. I don't have the file or anything.
Oh,
so
he doesn't have the file.
You just have to
right.
talk about.
So we are going to say, without the music in the background, without the nice music in the background, going to say a big thanks to all our Patreon donators on the show for this month again, and we're going to say thanks to Richard, Derek Smith, Bill Aronek, Sam Dawson, Alex Robinson, Dirk S, Sasha Beer, Stephen Ivey, Nicholas Codling, Luis Calaceres, Alan White, Steve Howland, Tanya Wyman, Nicholas Hewitt, Masha Gertz, Ruben Wells, Neil Lamworn, Graham Haley, Jonathan Warner, Jordan Rose, Andrew Wilson, Captain Jeff, Adam Spink, Liz Piper, Jeff Ward, Shut Backer, and Stephanie Plummer, Dr. Steph. Also, our regular PayPal donators as well, the lovely Jenny over in Rome. Hope it's a bit warmer for you, Jenny, if you're listening. Our local Mazouz Karim, he's listening as well. Hello to you, Mazouz. And a special thanks as well from us all to John Falk for his very kind donation as well over Christmas via PayPal to the show. Thank you very much indeed to you, John, as well, for that donation. Don't forget more details on how you can help us with the show at the end of the show. So we're going to have a look to see who's in the chat room tonight. I'm going to start at the top of the list. I'm doing things from my phone. This is quite
I know,
novel.
It's very modern of you. Oh, look what I found, by the way.
Always better late than never. We'll leave it on for the
okay,
yeah.
all right.
So, joining us in the chat room tonight, it's Richard Adams.
Oh, no, don't do it like that.
Okay.
I feel like I need to go and shower now.
Richard Adams is joining us in the chat room tonight. Well, it is the first show of the new year. Mazouz is in there. John Falk's in there. Dirk S is also in there. Hobby Time, hello to you. We've got Bill Aronek. Good to see you, Bill. Darren Smith, hello Darren. Darren messaged me in actually from Oslo at the weekend. It was a bit chilly. It was minus 13, Matt.
As you do.
I said minus 13.
Yeah, no, I heard what you said. Yeah. It's just like, yeah.
John Jester, our resident cargo captain, John Jester's in there as well. Good to see you. We've got Tanya W. Hello, Tanya. Lovely to see you in the chat room. And you as well, Masha. Hello, Masha. Captain Cruz, Evan Shue. Hello, Evan. It's about 5:30, very early in the morning.
What I like to refer to as o'clock.
Silly o'clock, yeah, where he is. Hello to you as well. And hello to everyone who's tuned in tonight for the show. Good to have you all back with us on our first live show of 2025. Got loads of news to get through tonight. We've also got our retro airline ad of the week, and also we did do a little caption this just for fun picture this week as well on the Facebook page.
Oh, did we? I've got to try and put that in as well.
We might not be able to do that this week because I haven't put it in the folder. But, that might be an issue.
Yeah, okay.
We'll get to that.
Small issue. Yeah, absolutely.
But we've got loads of news to get through this week, and Andy's got loads of beer to get through. So if everyone's ready for the commercial news.
He's rolling his head in horror. Yeah, absolutely. Here we go then. Let's see if it works.
Woohoo! Please take your seats and fasten your seatbelts.
And the first story this year.
Well, it is this month, I suppose.
Is from the Aviation 2z.com. And Japan Airlines retiring the Boeing 777. It's operated its last flight to London. Japan Airlines recently bid farewell to its iconic Boeing 777-300ER on the Tokyo Haneda to London route. Starting January the 2nd, 2025, the route will now feature the more modern Airbus A350. Andy's rubbing his hands together now. Underscoring JAL's transition towards the next generation fleet. The Boeing 777-300ER entered JAL's fleet back in 2004 as a replacement for the 747-400. Over the years, the aircraft has become synonymous with Japan Airlines' long-distance routes, including New York JFK and London Heathrow. JAL acquired gradually 13 units between 2004-2009 with its final 777-300ER, which was registration Juliet Alpha 739 Juliet, completing its last flight on January the 1st, 2005 from Tokyo Haneda to London Heathrow. The flight, designated as JL43, departed Haneda Airport at 11:01. How precise is that?
Very precise.
At local time, landed at Heathrow at 2:56 p.m.
I've heard of that airport.
Local time. After 14 hours and 25 minutes. The aircraft featured JAL's W84 cabin configuration with accommodating 244 passengers across 4 classes. 8 in first class, 49 in business, 40 in premium, and 147 in economy. The 777-300ER will remain active on select routes, including destinations like Chicago, Los Angeles, Paris, and Sydney, as well as several Asian cities and domestic routes. JAL has introduced the A350-1000 to replace the ageing 777-300ER in the fleet. And the airline has ordered 13 of the units, with 7 already delivered, with an additional 4 expected by 2025 this year. The aircraft are gradually being deployed on major international routes, starting with Haneda, New York in January, followed by Dallas-Fort Worth in April and London in October. The A350-1000 boasts 4-class cabin layout with 239 passengers, 6 in first class, 54 in business, with 24 in premium and 155 in economy. I'm surprised they've not got more premium in there. The cabin design emphasises passenger comfort, featuring full lie-flat beds in business class, electrically reclining seats in premium. Oh, that's a nice one. And 16-inch, are you ready, Matt? 16-inch 4K monitors.
That's a reasonable size.
Yeah. Notably, first class lacks overhead bins. Oh, you pay all that money, you didn't get any bins overhead. Above the seats, creating a more spacious atmosphere, just nowhere to put your bag. The A350-1000 also enhances fuel efficiency, as we all know, reduces engine noise, aligning with JAL's sustainability goals. And as part of the fleet renewal, the aircraft will gradually take over key routes to Europe and North America, ensuring seamless connectivity for passengers. JAL's fleet renewal strategy is progressing rapidly, with plans to operate 11 A350 aircraft by the end of this year. And the airline continues to expand its 350 operations, focusing on high-demand routes such as Paris and the US and West Coast. So, end of an era for JAL. Wouldn't surprise me if these 777s head off to the boneyard and some head off to be converted to freighters, I'd imagine. But, yeah, I've got a piece of one of these, Matt, in my studio and indoors.
Oh, have you?
No way. And an airframe that you've got a piece of, I'm surprised.
Very out of character, isn't it?
I know.
His lordship. Yeah,
I'm waiting for the guys over at St Athan to start parting out the 757s. So yeah.
Okay.
On that note, actually, I had a chat this week with a good friend of ours who works over at the place over at St Athan, and he did say this week that the amount of interest they've had for the 75s that are being retired from Jet 2 is literally breaking their email and phone lines.
What a terrible problem to have. Yeah. Lots of keen customers. I don't know how
one of them is me.
Yeah. Oh, of course, right, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, JAL. I've never flown Japan Airlines, Andy. I don't know if you've ever.
No,
had
me
the chance
neither.
To fly
No.
JAL.
No, I haven't got that far in the world yet.
Dirk Guess is putting in the chat room. Carlos collects airplane parts.
I know, it is shocking news to us all, I'm not going to lie. And
Oh, we need to say a special hello in the chat room to somebody who's been away for a while. Jennifer is in the chat room. Hello.
Ah, oh dear.
Lovely to see you back.
Indeed, absolutely.
She's obviously bored. She's decided.
Yeah, absolutely.
Come and listen to these British folk talk about aviation for a couple of hours.
What?
Yeah, I say what.
Lovely to see you, Jen. Good to have you back in the chat room.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting excited. Well, I've just managed to successfully find the show notes on my phone. I'm very excited. Yeah,
That's a first.
That's
I
a-
know. We're having
That is with one note, anyway.
Yeah, it is a bit. Yeah, we've been having a few problems. I think. What number are we on? What 533?
533, yeah.
Chat amongst yourselves.
Right, Andy, you've got the next story, and usually, if Nev was here, he would. I can imagine that Nev would probably go absolutely crazy with this story.
Yes, this has caused quite a lot of consternation within the community. This is from travelandleisure.com. British Airways overhauls loyalty programme and how reward points are earned. British Airways is overhauling its loyalty programme this year, switching to a revenue-based system and moving away from allowing travellers to earn points based on the route and fare class. As part of the new programme, which has been rebranded the British Airways Club, it's no longer executive, and will go into effect on April 1st, travellers will earn points based on the cost of their flight, earning one tier point for every £1 or $1.24 spent, according to the airline. Travellers can also earn points for money spent on extras like seat selection and excess baggage, and up to 1,000 points per year by purchasing a contribution to sustainable aviation fuels. In addition, travellers can earn points on British Airways holidays. And later in 2025, the airline said it plans to introduce ways to earn with BA American Express Premium Plus credit cards. Currently, loyal British Airways customers earn points depending on the route, the airline flown, and the fare class booked, with long-haul flights in premium cabins earning the most. The changes we've announced today underline our continued investment in our loyalty programme and in our customers. Based on our members' feedback, we've built on the changes we've already made, including how customers collect Avios and their membership year, in a way that we believe better rewards their loyalty and reflects their changing travelling needs, Colm Lacey, British Airways Chief Commercial Officer, said in a statement. We know that many of our customers make their holiday plans during our annual January sale period, so it's great to be able to announce this today. To complement the new ways to earn, British Airways is also changing its tier thresholds. With the new system, travellers will need to earn a whopping 3,500 points to qualify for bronze, earn 7,500 to qualify for silver, and earn 20,000 points to qualify for gold. The airline said it would also introduce a new milestone benefit between tiers later in the year, including gifts at 2,500, 4,000 and 5,000 bonus Avios points at milestones within the bronze and silver status levels. British Airways isn't alone in revamping its loyalty programme. In 2023, Delta also introduced a revenue-based tier system, which resulted in swift backlash. JetBlue has similarly introduced changes to its True Blue frequent flyer programme, as did United Airlines, Southwest, Alaskan Airlines, American Airlines and Frontier Airlines. The loyalty programme change comes as British Airways is working to roll out a new first-class seat, and the new seat is expected to hit the skies mid-2026. Now, I've got a lot to say on this.
Yeah, indeed.
I could rant as much as Nev about this one. So the first thing, earning one tier point for every pound spent. That is not actually true. It's only the money you spend on the actual airline seat. It doesn't include all the taxes you have to pay.
Oh, wow.
Any supplementary fees and stuff like that. So that's also quite off-putting.
Right.
So those sort of tiers, 3,500 points is 3.5 grand essentially you've got to spend.
Yeah.
In a year to get gold, you've got to spend £20,000 excluding taxes.
Cool.
So basically what you're saying is, unless you're working for a company that sends you, flying regularly.
Yeah.
And
yeah, but I mean, even so, that's an
and
awful lot of regular
you put your
flying,
points,
isn't it?
on your account.
And the reason BA are doing this is quite simple. They just need to empty out how many people are in the lounges, because the lounges are absolutely packed. Because lots of people with the old system. Here's an example I saw on another YouTube channel. I can't remember what it was. I think it was to get silver for a year. All you had to do was 46 return trips to Glasgow in a year, which I guess is pretty doable if you're doing it for work. But if you want to retain that now, it's 142 round trips.
Oh,
so they've immediately lost silver status.
Yeah.
And they want to make this, they used to call it the Executive Club, but they want to make it more selective and elite. That's it.
But I could sort of understand why, say you decide you're going to drop it down a level. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, so you did, using your 40 flights to Glasgow as an example. So you think, right, well, let's drop it down so that it's 40 flights, and that'll get you your bronze status, if you like, for doing that. Because it's, it is the lowest tier, isn't it, of options that are available. But to basically mean you have to do an extra 100 flights, it just doesn't. I'm not very good on sort of planes and social media and all that kind of thing, and even I've seen stories about it. It's even made BBC News and things like that. The
social
furore
media kicked off.
Yeah, the fallout from this.
It's the way they've done it as well.
It's an unusual way to sort of financially commit suicide for your regular customers.
And they're trying to gaslight everybody as well by saying this is feedback that people have asked for this to happen.
Yeah, what a load of rubbish.
Nobody's asked for this.
Of course
Nobody's asked for it.
Absolutely.
Good look at some comments.
Unless what they're doing is, as you were saying there, because there's a lot of furore about the fact that the lounges are always full. Unless that's what they mean by the feedback, but if that's the case, then adjust.
But that's their own fault. They extended everybody's points over COVID. They've done double tier points on BA holidays, so more and more people have reached the threshold to get silver and gold. So of course they've got to use the lounge. Why wouldn't they? I was silver until last year, and I was doing quite a few trips down to Heathrow. I was just going in economy because Club Europe is just economy with a seat blocker and better food.
Yeah, true.
But I was getting to use the lounge at Heathrow, and I was like, and at Newcastle as well. This is brilliant, perfect.
Yeah.
Just looking at the comments in the chat room, we've got one from Captain Cruz. Says, let's be honest, frequent flyer programs are not what they used to be back in the 80s. They're all garbage now and not even worth signing up for.
Ooh,
yeah.
John Falk as well says the double tier points on BA holidays are also responsible for a large number of extra people gaining silver statuses as well. So, yeah. It's not... I was bronze. I think I'll probably be steel now.
Steel, aluminium,
molten. Carbon.
It's blue. The
carbon
bottom
fiber,
level, isn't it?
Yeah. Blue.
There is a bottom level then. Yeah. Okay. Fair.
I think I'll be blue, and I look back at my account and see that I've gone back into blue.
Yeah.
But,
To put it in perspective here, we're flying to New York in end of October, come back early November. We're going out business. We're coming back first. I don't even get enough tier points to make silver from that.
For doing business. Wow.
And first class.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past, when we did business each way to Barbados once, that got you silver straight away.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Jennifer is offering one option. She's saying I'm mulch or lower, having never flown BA, which to be fair, he's probably got as many points as most other people now, thanks to the change.
Next time Nev flies over to the US, Jen, you'll have to just see him, and he'll sort of get you a flight. You can use a lounge and stuff like that. It's quite good.
Yeah. I know. Actually, interestingly enough, we're talking about BA there. I'm a big fan of a breakfast radio presenter who is on Radio X, and he was telling his story of I watch it on catch up. Don't calm down.
Fair enough.
I still listen to Park Radio in the morning, but listening to it on catch up, and he had an awful story to tell about where they basically almost deplaned him, and it was all just because of some over-aggressive ticketing agent in Heathrow to sort of try and really quite awful. I did try to get permission to play a clip of it, but they didn't get back to me. So but.
Matt, you've got some good news next for your story. You've got good news for anyone who's in the UK and is potentially flying Ryanair this year, because just for a change, you could save money in the checking in process?
Well, we'll have it. We need it in writing, I think, but especially with this particular airline. The budget airline intends. This is Ryanair's major boarding pass change could save passengers £55 in 2025. This is from the Express, obviously, the Express newspaper, where we get all of our news stories from. The budget airline intends to go completely paperless in 2025, meaning check-in and boarding pass rules could change. As 2024 has now come to a close, passengers may already be thinking ahead to holidays next year. And one major change to Ryanair could completely shake up how passengers travel. The budget airline previously announced that it intends to phase out paper boarding passes and check-in desks entirely by 2025. The change would make Ryanair the first airline in the world to go entirely paperless. Instead, travellers will be required to present a digital PDF version of their boarding pass via the app. Michael O'Leary, the chief executive of Ryanair, revealed plans to eliminate printed boarding passes by May 2025. Speaking at a press conference in October, he said that we are working towards May the 1st, that everything will be done on the app, noting it will be done on paper, that it won't be done on paper anymore. Around 60% of Ryanair passengers use the app. Mr. O'Leary anticipates that this will rise to 80% before the end of the year, before hitting 100% next spring, or this spring, I should say. As well as eliminating printed boarding passes, physical check-in desks may also be removed. I'm one of the last remaining people still showing up with my piece of paper, he said, but it works so well. The app tells you your gate and if there is a delay. At present, passengers are charged £55 if they forget to check in online before getting to the airport. Mr. O'Leary claims that by scrapping check-in desks and physical boarding passes, passengers will never have to pay for their ticket to be printed in the airport ever again. The airport check-in fee will be gone, so I think it'll be a much smoother, easier journey for everyone, he said. Currently, travellers have few options when it comes to Ryanair boarding passes. They can download the app and use a mobile pass. They can print out the physical paper copy of the boarding pass at home. If they're unable to do that, they can request a paper boarding pass at the airport for an extra £55. With the new changes, the only remaining option would be a mobile pass. However, according to Ryanair website, airports in Turkey, except Dalaman, Morocco and Tirana Airport in Albania, do not accept mobile passes. Ryanair recommends passengers use the app and its mobile passes and does not recommend using a screenshot for your boarding pass to travel. I don't really understand why that makes any difference.
I'll just point out something
you've got one or not.
That Dirk Guess has just put in the chat room, which is very true. So Granny needs to get a smartphone to fly Ryanair now or pay.
Indeed. Oh, what are your thoughts on this one, Andy?
They've always been a bit cheeky when it comes to boarding passes. I don't think anybody should be forced to not be able to check in at the airport. And I don't think they should have to pay a stupid amount of money for it. But if they put it in their terms and conditions, then you're agreeing to it, aren't you? So,
true. I mean, my only sort of like concern with it really is I do think they're pushing the inevitable. I think we are going to reach a point where, the need for paper, if you like, and paper tickets and all that kind of thing has been redundant, really, for quite some time.
But I still like printing mine out.
No, I know, but you could still print out. That's the thing, I suppose. Presumably you could still print out one at home and bring it with you because it's all about.
Yeah, it says you can do that.
Yeah, I guess the concern is I know it's a pain if you've got to pay £55 because but something could happen to your ticket. I mean, is that the thing? I mean, I suppose, Carlos and I, both of us, when we travel, we keep a PDF copy, like a printed copy in our bag, but we also have the pass on our phone. So I guess that's the way around it. But I do feel there still needs to be some way of you being able to sort of obtain a pass digitally or if you have a problem at the airport.
John Felt makes a good point that I think you pointed out a while back, Matt, with this, and that's what about when you get a flat battery at the airport with your phone?
Yeah, I mean,
then they say that's your fault.
Yeah.
I mean, likewise, if you accidentally drop your phone and smash it on the way to the airport,
or if you own an iPhone,
what's having an iPhone got to do with anything?
I mean, an iPhone alleviates all these issues. Mate.
It does, to be fair. Yeah, absolutely, it really does.
It's a battery thing.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, battery thing. Look at the state of that. Honestly,
He doesn't understand, mate.
He doesn't
understand.
No, I agree. Absolutely, I know.
He is the granddad.
To be fair, he's
right.
very much sulking because the company he works for are going to force his mobile phone to be the way that he makes telephone calls. So he's going to be forced to have to use an iPhone.
We had a 35-minute training session this afternoon about the fact that all our internal phones are now moving to this app on the phone. We've got to use the company phone, which mine is a iPhone. And I just looked at it, I installed it and thought, yeah, I'll use that later.
A small part of me is impressed you managed to successfully install it. I'm not going to lie.
For me, for someone who has never liked Teams as a way of
What's
communicating.
that got to do with an iPhone?
I find myself thinking, I think I'd rather use Teams to do calls. To anyone.
Wow, okay, yeah.
But
fair,
anyway.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Oh, Dirk S is saying on the chat, he says, what if your Android phone is infected with a virus on your way to the airport? Oh, Dirk,
It's a good point.
honestly.
It's a good point.
A very good point, yes.
Don't get that on iOS, mate.
No, you don't.
Right.
No, you don't.
I have never had a virus on my smartphone. And not on this one.
that's
on
it
my
now.
smartphone.
Give me a minute. Hang on. Let me see what
I'm not opening any emails
Carlos,
from Matt
I'm just going to
Smith.
text you a link.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a very special
is
link.
that a courier from royalmail.z.147972?
That'll just take all your money, mate. It won't ruin your phone.
Yeah. That won't be the issue. No.
Anyway, moving on. Next story. Oh dear!
Oh,
before I collapse, this is au.news.yahoo.com, and good tech one for you about this one. You like this?
Oh, is it?
Because you've heard of this actually. I'm sure you've heard of this.
Hang on, Carlos.
Yes.
Hang on, Carlos. Hang
Yes,
on.
of
You
course not.
skipped forward one.
Oh,
here,
sorry. No, you've got this one, Andy. That's I'm using a tablet. That's because I'm using a tablet.
Oh, yeah.
He's using an Android tablet.
That
that's
is
right.
anyway.
Anyway,
He is using an
Oh,
Android
here
tablet.
we
He absolutely is, yeah.
Right, edit
this
that
is
out.
this is from aviasonline.com, and this is Airbus is already working on the successor to the A320 family. Airbus announced that it's begun work on the successor to the A320 family, which is expected to enter service by mid-2030s. This marks the start of a program aimed at replicating the success of the product that propelled the manufacturer to the forefront of the aviation industry 3 decades ago and eventually became the best-selling commercial aircraft in history, surpassing the Boeing 737. The European aviation giant is currently focused on 2 distinct projects. Airbus's first project revolves around a small aircraft capable of covering approximately 1,000 miles and powered by hydrogen. The second aims to develop a short to mid-range successor for the A320 using sustainable aviation fuel. We are in the testing phase, said the CEO of Airbus, and testing involves wings with a larger span with certain adaptability features in the air. We're also evaluating propulsion systems. The single-aisle market dominates commercial aviation, representing the majority of aircraft and being the primary source of revenue for both Airbus and Boeing. While these two companies have maintained a duopoly for decades, in recent years the European giant has gained an advantage. The challenges Boeing faces with its 737 MAX model, the direct competitor to the A320, are the main reason for this shift. Currently, both companies have opted for derivatives of their single-aisle aircraft. Advancement in engine technologies have exhausted the current capabilities of the fuselages. This necessitates a complete new design. Thus, the successor to the Airbus A320 will introduce a new platform and is scheduled to enter service in the second half of the next decade. Seating capacities for these models will vary from approximately 140 to 240 people, depending on the subtype and configuration. It was emphasised that the design of Airbus's new aircraft will depend heavily on the engine selection, and Airbus is exploring various options, including the CFM Rise open rotor engine. Well, there you go. It's finally happening. They're starting to design a new aircraft.
Well, I mean, a new aircraft.
It would be nice to see Airbus do something completely different. I mean, Boeing should have done this a long while ago instead of bringing the MAX out and do a reboot of the 7.5, but we've always said that. But
Well, you can't reboot. You'd have to a full redesign because you can't redo the 7.5. All the jigs are gone. But it will be nice to see what they come up with, and I don't think it'll look too dissimilar to what it is now. Just with different power system.
I'll put you on the spot, Andy. Being an Airbus pilot and captain, in your honest view, right, being serious now, what would you personally change on the 320 that you would love to have or see, something that you don't have on there currently?
Just more fuel-efficient engines. Just keep making them more and more fuel-efficient. Go further. Or be able to hang around a lot more when the weather's bad and you're not burning as much fuel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fantastic platform to operate. It's getting very fancy in terms of what types of approach it could do now. FLS and SLS has been introduced on top of your ILS and GPS approaches. It's brilliant. I can't fault it, really. The only thing I would change as well is maybe upgrade the FMC from a Commodore 64 chipset, which is what's currently in it.
Oh,
Wow, okay. Lovely.
Yeah, that is genuinely what's in it.
I mean, it was a beautiful thing in its day.
Yes,
but
and
they
it
always look
works.
aged, don't they? Whenever you look at the FMC, they just always look dated, regardless.
Yeah. But I think put some of the A350 avionics and developments into a smaller airframe, and I think you've got the perfect thing.
So there's nothing else on the flight deck that like the seat or something just random, like the tray table that you got. There's nothing else that you would change, make better, redesign.
There's lots of things I could change, but it all depends if my employer would pay for those additional extras.
Yeah.
And I can probably tell you now they would not.
No,
Very true.
no.
Because the seats are comfy enough as they are, but you can get the option for sheepskin covers
Oh,
and all sorts.
Hello.
nice.
Very fancy, but imagine 500 pilots spilling coffee or their dinner all over that and trying to wipe it off. It's going to get messy and stained and smelly very quickly.
Yeah, they need to be sort of wipe clean or easy to wash, don't they? Essentially.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
But in terms of comfort, not really. I've got loads of room.
Yeah. I mean, is it? And forgive my naivety on this one here, but is it the same with something like like with the Boeing products as well?
In terms of
luxury and comfort and space, and
You get the sheepskin seats with them. As
yeah,
standard.
but they've got that big blummin' control column. between
Oh,
the
I see. Right, rather than that nice little joystick thing.
Rather than
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Fair.
Keep the controls to the side. Keep the space in the middle clear. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Plenty of room to
Absolutely.
stretch out. Put your dinner tray up. That sort of thing.
Exactly.
Captain Cruz says Andy finally wants a proper yoke.
I really don't. I really don't.
he's unanimous.
You do
in this.
realise, Andy, if you would ever have had the chance to fly the 7.5, you would have had to have touched one of those yoke things.
Silly, ridiculous yoke things. Yeah.
I don't mind them at all, and I'd have loved to have flown that thing, but I love what I fly now.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
quite
yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
God,
Times have changed.
Can you
Times have changed.
imagine if they'd have done a fly-by-wire 7.5?
Well, that
Andy'd be all over that.
Well, there
Well,
is
the
that.
777s fly by wire.
He's just got a
Yeah.
control yoke. Yeah. Right, moving on to next story. au.news.yahoo.com. Starlink. United Airlines will be start testing. Help yourself to pizza, by the way, Matt.
Oh, thanks. Right.
Well,
Teaser
Where's
arrived.
mine?
Gemma just brought in this huge. Can I put this on the camera there? Gemma just brought in this huge plate of pizza. There we go.
Yeah,
For those of you watching in the world of YouTube.
Yeah. We're attacking that very shortly.
There we go. There we go. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be helping ourselves to that. Yeah, so help yourself, Matt.
Yeah, okay.
United Airlines has announced plans to start
Busy at the moment,
testing
just
Starlink on flights in February this year and eventually add SpaceX's satellite internet service to its entire fleet. The company first announced a partnership with SpaceX to set a new standard of in-flight connectivity back in September last year. After testing, United expects the first commercial flight with Starlink to be on a United Embraer E175 in the spring. The rest of the airline's two-cabin regional fleet will have Starlink installed through 2025. And United says it will have the first mainline Starlink-enabled plane in the air before the end of the year. Starlink will be available for free to all members of United's Mileage Plus program, so that'll be Brian Coleman. Besides improving the quality of in-flight Wi-Fi, United sees Starlink as an opportunity to unlock new partnership for its members. Don't be surprised if United cooks up new deals with streaming services.
They're whatting now?
To offer more free content during flights. United is joining both Delta and Hawaiian Airlines in partnering with Starlink for in-flight Wi-Fi. SpaceX originally announced its intentions to offer, here we go, Matt, 350 megabytes per second internet speeds to its aircraft back in 2022.
Yeah, that'll do.
And both Delta and Hawaiian have either tested Starlink or committed on offering it on their planes. Starlink has expanded in some serious ways in the last year, and SpaceX got to test Starlink's direct-to-cell satellite service with T-Mobile during Hurricane Milton's landfall in the US. Which made plans for a larger beta test of the service for February and launched a nationwide satellite texting service in New Zealand. United Airlines said on Sunday it expects to begin testing Elon Musk's Starlink in February this year for in-flight internet services, and the first to offer the connectivity on commercial flight operated by the E175 in the spring of this year. The airline plans to outfit its entire two-cabin regional fleet with the service by the end of the year and have its Starlink-enabled services on major routes by the end of the year. It's good news, and the fact they're doing it free as well is always a bonus.
I'm not going to lie, I'm quite excited about. I mean, genuinely.
Did you pay? You paid for your Wi-Fi when you flew with? Did you have any Wi-Fi in Emirates when you flew to Dubai?
Do you know? I actually. Weirdly, yes, it was available.
Okay.
I would have had to have paid for it.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's not true, because if you'd got the loyalty scheme thing, which was free to sign up for, once you'd done that, you could have WhatsApp texts, couldn't you?
Okay.
But I have to say, and I did this when I was away. Those of you who follow me on social media will notice there was not very many photos that I posted, and I actually made a very conscious decision, because I was going there to see a very dear friend and spend some time with them. I actually made a conscious decision not to spend my entire time basically watching it through my phone. So actually, genuinely, like in the flight and all that kind of thing, I did sort of use it as an opportunity to switch off, because the original plan was actually to try and sleep all the way out there, so that when I arrived, that's why we purposely chose a night flight.
And why wouldn't you, with Emirates' awesome IFE?
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I just binged a load of films. I watched like an entire series of Big Bang Theory, just because it's one of my favourite TV shows, and I watched The Fall Guy on the way there and on the way back, because I love that film. It's utterly brilliant.
I've still not watched that
If you've not seen it, it's now available on the various streaming platforms. I am absolutely obsessed. And if you love the 80s TV show, there's a lot of very lovely nods to the original series. Anyway, but yeah, so that genuinely, that was the decision. I mean, I did take some photos, and there was a handful of photos that I did take, because there are certain things that you want, like the waterfalls and all that kind of thing. But no, I did make a conscious decision not to sort of basically do the flight, do the thing all through my phone.
Dirk S in the chat room says, just had Wi-Fi on my Condor flight back from Tenerife on a brand new A321neo, and for the whole flight time was pretty decent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Am I just old-fashioned here in the fact that
you want to look
we
at
live
the
in
window?
a world that's connected constantly?
Absolutely, yeah.
Why not just enjoy 4.5, 8 hours, 11, 14, however long in the plane, without anybody bothering you?
Yeah,
and just relax.
Yeah, no, and that's, as I say, that was one of the things. As I say, and I love my technology. Don't get me wrong. I mean, my entire life is all about technology and that kind of thing. And as I say, but I thought, no, I'm going to go and spend time with my best friend and his gorgeous wife. And it was just like, no, I'm going to, and it was, that included going out there and all that kind of thing. I mean, that having been said, when I went to go and see Armando, it was more the first time that I'd ever been on a flight that had availability of it, and so I did go a little bit crazy. And there is something quite mind-blowing about being able to text and send picture messages to your nearest and dearest from 30 plus thousand feet. There's something quite cool about that.
It is cool. I know when I flew out to the US to see Armando last time, I ended up listening to see what Park Radio would be sounding
Yep.
like.
And it sounded absolutely fine.
It
Yeah,
sounded
was ridiculous.
awesome, I know.
It was exactly the same as if you were
Yes,
listening
if
to
you
it on the
did,
app
yeah.
here at home. It was
Yeah, so
ridiculous.
good.
Which to be able to sustain that, and I managed to listen to it all the way home, and I think it dropped out twice in the entire flight. And bearing in mind, obviously I won't be the only one who was using it, so there are lots of advantages to it. I do like the Starlink system. Going back to the story,
yeah.
I have to say that the minute it comes down a little bit more in price, then that's absolutely the route that I'm probably going to go down.
Captain Jeff used it, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he
on
does,
his,
absolutely.
on his
Yeah,
RV, on his RV.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are lots of things that are quite cool about it. But I must admit, I got a lot out of, like Andy saying that, I got a lot out of not using my phone, and just, in fact, actually, I popped it on charge and put it in my laptop bag. That's literally, which apparently, which Owen told me off for. Apparently, I shouldn't have done that. But anyway,
Darren Smith in the chat room.
Okay, I didn't realise. Sorry.
Darren Smith in the chat room says he needs a mobile when he's on the flight to take his mind off other annoying passengers.
There is that.
Just download something to watch.
Yeah,
you
there is true.
don't have to be texting people.
No,
I'm just
that's
I'm an old man. That's all my problem.
No, I wouldn't go that. You're younger than both.
us.
You're younger than both.
You're
of
younger than us.
I'm an old man in a younger body. Then.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Yeah. No, but there's a lot to be said. I mean, again, I suppose the argument is it was a night flight, so there was literally bugger all to watch out of the windows. That's the because it was just like darkness. And I was quite excited about. So I actually popped again on the boat, certainly on the 380. You had the cameras, so you could see
the tail cams.
Yeah, the tail cam stuff. Which, of course, when you were around by the terminal, was absolutely fascinating. You said because the second you got on the runway, I mean, you basically saw nothing.
Have you noticed as well, Matt? Because I flew with Emirates shortly after you, didn't I?
You did, yeah.
That those cameras look like they're about 3 megapixels. The picture is appalling on like a 14-inch IFE screen.
Which is HD, to be fair to the so the screen is very capable of providing you an excellent picture. And I have to say it was a lot better during the day. So I think if the light isn't quite right, it sort of goes a bit heavily pixelated and stuff. But and there was some lovely, like coming home, there was some lovely shots of clouds and all that kind of thing, especially from the tail camera. But then, to be fair, that was the 777 coming home for me.
Yeah. They're still not the greatest cameras, though. Andy's right.
Yeah. Shame, isn't it? Well, you
Drop-
spent all that money on everything else.
Yeah.
Well,
You spent 200 odd million on a plane.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you put £13.99 cameras off Amazon.
Yeah.
Now, Matt, do you want me to do the next story so you can have some pizza before Carlos eats it all?
Well, there is that risk. Yeah, absolabsolely. No, it's all right. I'll risk it.
take it away. Andy.
It's still like molten lava, to be fair. So let's give it some time. Yes, here we go. It's Euronews.com is the source on this one, and the headline is "World First as EasyJet tries to paint a new paint technique for a lighter shade of plane." Interesting. Low-cost UK airline EasyJet is planning to try out a new lightweight painting method in an effort to save on fuel usage and cut overall aircraft weights. The method will mainly cut the number of... You're very distracting. A number of coats needed per plane to... could you not eat in front? I'm going to tell you. He's eating on the microphone. You're doing a pip. That's what I'm saying.
Sorry.
The method will mainly cut the number of coats needed per plane to paint the iconic EasyJet white and orange design. The budget airline is working with a name I'm not even... is it... it looks like Manky Whiz. Is that right?
Manky Whiz.
Is that a real thing?
I think it's Manky Vits.
Thank you very much. Okay, lovely.
Manky Vids.
I've made up a new word. Anyway,
dear.
the coatings for the paint system, which has already been used on 38 planes. Although the technique is still very new, making EasyJet one of the earliest airlines to use it, it is about 1,296 tonnes of fuel savings. Once EasyJet's entire fleet uses the new paint system. However, the company has also highlighted that it is looking into several other steps to decrease plane weights in an attempt to further cut carbon emission and fuel usage levels. This includes the focusing on improving operational efficiencies, fleet renewal, and airspace modernisation. The new paint system is expected to be adopted by EasyJet's whole fleet by the end of this decade. indeed. The company has already experienced some fuel savings from the aircraft's testing out the new method. That could be important in providing EasyJet with much-needed cost savings down the line once a fleet-wide rollout is achieved, especially given how competitive the current aviation market is. EasyJet has also faced a number of issues in the last several months, namely increased flight delays and cancellations. There have also been a number of cabin crew strikes, which has further complicated matters. The story goes on, and I'm going to sort of pause it there, really. But we're sort of talking all about I must say, I'm really quite surprised that I didn't think paint weighed that much.
Yep. 27 kilos per aircraft will be cut. That's a lot of weight to be carrying around on 8-10 flights a day.
Yeah.
Across a fleet of 300 aircraft.
I
it
suppose.
soon adds up the fuel saving.
Yeah, I just sort of think, I mean, essentially that's one person's luggage, though, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. You can save a lot of fuel over a year.
Really?
With a small amount. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. I'd sort of not really given that any thought, to be honest. But yeah, this is just But wow.
Masha says in the chat room, PTUK After Dark. It's called 50 Shades of Plain.
Oh dear.
And Matt, the point I was making before, mate,
Yeah.
was my story was before yours.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but you can go back and do that one next, Andy. Don't panic.
I will.
But good on EasyJet though, and hopefully they won't make it too light with the paintwork, because it is well known for obviously the bold orange colour on their livery.
Well, a bit like Jet 2 and they're red, like what Andy's got, isn't it? I
yeah.
suppose it's all about the tail fin, isn't it? Really, I guess. But
So
Yeah.
Andy,
I think-
carry on, Andy.
No, I was going to say, I think this is just the undercoat as well, because an aircraft gets 2 layers of paint.
Okay. Yeah, fair.
So you thin up the undercoat and then put the finish
the
on
primer,
top.
yeah. The
So
finish
what we're saying here, Andy, is, and you'll know this one. Basically, if the airlines were to go back and do what American Airlines done back in the 80s, and just have literally no paint at all. Do you remember they used to have the polished,
Yeah, they were polished, yeah.
aluminium fuselage and with just a bit of livery with the American Airlines logo on? But they also look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Problem is, aircraft aren't built like that anymore.
No.
Lots of composites.
Composites,
If you did that on a 320, you'd have a lovely silver fuselage, then green doors, green panels underneath where the composite structures are. It wouldn't really work, unfortunately.
No.
But they did look beautiful, the old American Airlines ones.
Yeah. Now, Andy, you've got the next story, and
Yes.
someone who
Despite my
had a bit of an
best
issue.
efforts.
Had a bit of an issue at Christmas time.
I did, yeah. This is from the mirror.co.uk. Brit misses getaway as staff wrongly turf her off British Airways plane. Was it over her status? Oh, no, it wasn't. No, hang on. A passenger was turned away from their Christmas flight at Gatwick Airport as airline staff got passport rules wrong again, it has been reported. Sue Heath from Buckinghamshire was due to fly from London Gatwick to Malta 2 days before Christmas, but claimed she was forced to vacate her seat before the aircraft left the airport. The 64-year-old was due to sit in seat 23C, and even though her passport is valid for travel to Malta and the rest of the European Union until late March, ground staff wrongly ordered Sue to depart the plane, reports The Independent. The reason she was instructed to get off the plane was due to having an expired passport when it was actually still in date. I was told my passport was not valid for the EU, she told The Independent. I had to accept their decision and sadly missed my Christmas in Malta. I felt very humble and embarrassed that I'd messed up. The British Airways ground staff at Gatwick may have been in the wrong in asking Sue to leave. A similar incident occurred in 2024 when 2 separate passengers were turned away from their British Airways flights at Gatwick Airport. Since Brexit, a UK passport must meet 2 conditions for travel to the EU. Firstly, passports must be no more than 10 years old on the day of entry to the EU, and secondly, there must be at least 3 months remaining on the passport from the intended day of departure from the EU. Sue claims her passport met both of these conditions. However, she said ground staff appeared to be confused about whether her passport was valid. The gate agent was concerned about Sue's passport not being acceptable and initially said that she could not board the flight. The ground staff reportedly then tried to call her office but could not get an answer, so looked at Sue's passport again and allowed Sue to check back in and board the aircraft. However, around 10 minutes before the departure, the same ground staff member found Sue on board the aircraft and asked for her passport again. The staff member phoned her office, gave all of Sue's passport details, and returned flight information too, Sue explained. She then said, unfortunately, I couldn't travel as I would have had to be out and back from Malta by the 22nd of December. Then she took me off the aircraft. After leaving the flight, Sue was reportedly escorted out of the airport through passport control and customs into the arrival hall by British Airways agents. She travelled home and called British Airways customer service, claiming they had informed her that documentation was her responsibility and that she needed to call an embassy if she wished to gain clarification. Okay, so where's the evidence that her passport was perfectly valid to travel? This all sounds a bit wishy-washy to me.
Yeah, I'm not.
Mind you, it has made me think because I need to renew mine.
Oh,
and that's just reminded. I know I need to write myself a note down because I do need to renew mine before we go away this year.
But why? Forgive me if it's got an expiry. Am I being oversimplifying this? If it's got a, I could understand if it has to have like What's the point in having an expiry date if it's got to be within a? Surely the expiry date is the expiry date.
So, before Brexit, if you got a passport before Brexit, your passport was valid for 10 years,
10 years, yeah.
plus whatever was left on the old one. Right?
Oh, right, yeah.
But since leaving the EU, now all the passports are just bang on 10 years. Date of issue, 10 years to the date, it's not valid anymore. Wow. So there's still a bit of overlap between the old passports and the new ones. And it gets a bit confusing around that.
Right, okay.
Because my old one had a bit of extra on, but then I renewed mine in 2019 after Brexit, and it has bang on 10 years validity on it.
Okay.
So there can be...
But it's the whole, it must have at least 3 months left on it.
I thought that was the rule. I thought that was the rule.
Is that because... then the expiry date is not the date that's on the passports. It's 3 months before that.
I think this is badly written. So yeah.
Okay, right.
Correct. Because some countries... You can travel up until the date of the expiry. It's an EU rule. You've got to have 3 months on it.
Okay.
Some places ask for 6 months on it.
Right.
Or some ask for less. That's just the extra bit. So hers must have had less than that available, if that was the case.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think mine's 2027, so I've got a couple of years left.
Well, I've still got the old.
No, me too.
Passport.
I've still got the burgundy
original one.
Yeah.
I need to.
I'm going to be very sad to see the back of my EU passport, if I'm honest. But
likewise,
I need to get that application sorted. I think sooner rather than later, because it'll happen. I'll forget.
Yeah.
Next story comes from Aerotime.aero and news for Andy. This one: Airbus falls short of 2024 target for around 770 aircraft deliveries. Airbus has fallen short of its 2024 target to complete around 770 aircraft deliveries despite a busy December, trying to achieve its goal, according to Bloomberg. To hit Airbus CEO Guillaume Faure's, is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. Delivery target for the year, the plane maker would have needed to deliver around 127 aircraft in December. However, insiders told Bloomberg the total aircraft deliveries by the end of 2024 only reached around 760, with close to 120 planes being delivered in December. During 2023, in order to reach its yearly target of around 720 deliveries, Airbus only needed to deliver 97 aircraft in the final month of the year, and ultimately it delivered 112 aircraft to 51 customers. If insiders are correct, though, Airbus still pulled off an incredible achievement by delivering close to 120 planes in December 2024. Official Airbus statistics reveal orders and deliveries for 2024 are expected to be published on January the 9th this year. And in July last year, Airbus reduced its delivery target for the year from 800 planes to around 770, citing the shortage of engines and other key components. What is certain, however, is that Airbus is dead set to be its rivals Boeing for aircraft deliveries. Surprise, surprise. During 2024, the US plane maker faced a turbulent production year with strikes, manufacturing restrictions put in place by the FAA, and following the Alaska Airlines door plug incident that we all know and covered before. So there we go. I mean, it's hardly, a loss. Or
Is this a story? Because I mean, that's still a lot of aeroplanes.
It's
to
a
deliver,
lot of
isn't it?
aeroplanes to deliver. It's a lot of work, and obviously that is a lot of people and people who have jobs, which is always important. So, but I think they've done well. 770 aircraft. That's good.
Yeah. The next story, the headline is absolutely terrible reporting, Matt.
Oh, is it?
Tell me what's wrong with that headline when you read it.
Okay, hang on. I'm just sorry. I was trying to do something else. Bear with me. I was distracted.
Distracted by pizza.
No. I was actually. You know that Android device that you've got where you were busy worrying about the fact that we ain't got the caption this competition. Well, because I've got an iPhone, I've been able to do it.
Oh,
using
he's
my
showing off now with his tech. With his
Another
tech.
win for Apple.
Absolutely. So sorry. All right, you can stop that now. Look. Yeah. Where are we? Sorry. So it's which story? Hang on, I'm lost now.
Story 9.
Story 9.
That's right. Okay, yeah, jolly good. This is going. Sorry, as you're distracting me. This is the trouble. Here we go. Okay, so let's see see if I can work out what's wrong with this. Best airline to upgrade your ticket on named, and it's not British Airways or EasyJet.
I think what Andy's pointing to here is the word upgrade, and then the word EasyJet.
Right.
Because
okay. Yes, they don't really do upgrades per se, do they? I mean, you could have an aisle seat, I suppose. Is that an upgrade?
Over
Or an overwing.
Or an overwing.
exit.
Yeah, lots of leg room. Yeah, absolutely.
Or seat 1A.
Yeah, so you could. Well, yeah, not quite the same though, is it?
No.
Anyway, Google Trends has shown a significant increase in searches for how to upgrade flight and flight upgrade, with an increase of 207%. It's a big old number, isn't it? And 146% respectively this year. This surge has led these search terms to reach their highest levels in the past 2 decades. In response, lifestyle magazine Daily Base, never heard of it, analysed 49 international airlines that offered business class cabins to determine which ones provide the best value for money when upgrading. Once again, didn't realise that EasyJet offered business class. The study compared the experience of flying in economy versus business class across several factors, including seat size and type, in-flight entertainment and food reviews, Wi-Fi availability, and overall TripAdvisor review scores. Each factor was given an index score, weighted and compiled to create a definitive ranking of the best airlines to upgrade your ticket with. The research found that Singapore Airlines topped the list, scoring an impressive 87.46 on the index, equivalent to a total index score of 61.23% out of 70. These are points, aren't they, rather than percentages. Business class passengers on Iberia can enjoy some of the most generous legroom across all airline analysed, with an average of 40 inches more than economy cabins. The highest ranked US-based airline was Delta Airlines, securing third place with a score of 81.64%. It's also the only North American airline to make the top 10. Much like Singapore Airlines, Delta has earned an overall TripAdvisor review score of 4 out of 5 stars, having won the website's Traveller's Choice Awards multiple times and accumulated over 25,000 excellent reviews from customers. The top airlines deemed most worthy of upgrading are, we'll do it, what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got a top 6 here. We'll start with the bottom one, shall we? Which is Hong Kong Airlines at 77.42%. Korean Air is at number, what did I say, 6?
There's a few more than 6 there. There's 2 on each of the second lines.
You got Korean and SAS on the
that's
the 5th place.
Me. Anyway, all right. So we'll go. That's going well. So SAS Airlines at 77.61. Then at
fourth.
What's going on here?
In fourth tier, 4th place. Version.
It's not 4th, is it? Because it's all over it's really all over the place, isn't it? I'll tell you what. We'll start at the top. So Singapore Airlines 87.
They're the best.
4, 6. They're the best. Iberia 2nd and Delta 3rd. Fourth was Qatar. Fifth was Air New Zealand. Sixth was Virgin Atlantic. And then seventh was Japan Airlines. There we go. Korean Air in eighth. Ninth was SAS Airlines. And 10th was Hong Kong Airlines, as we said.
Surprise, surprise, Singapore was the top one out of those. So this is all about the value for money. This is all about, what are the best airlines to be bothered to actually upgrade if you can upgrade.
Yeah.
And you can afford to, of course, or you can blag it.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see that the only US airline in there is Delta.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Mind you, I was going to say Virgin, but there's no British Airways isn't in there either, is there? So,
No,
there's
no.
no British carriers.
But Virgin are in, which is always good.
Yeah, but Virgin Atlantic, isn't that Australian?
No, Virgin Atlantic is
No,
UK.
That is definitely UK, is it? Okay.
It's Mr. Branson's. Well, was Mr.
Well,
Branson's.
it's mainly owned by Delta now.
mainly owned by Delta. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so not British at all then, technically.
Yeah, well,
So technically American then. So there's technically two American
Yeah,
airlines
yeah.
in the...
Okay, well, ish.
Sorry to be
ish.
pedantic.
Loosely,
All right.
loosely.
Indeed.
But
Fair enough.
yeah, but I find it a lot easier to blag your way into business class. It's a lot better.
Do you?
It hurts the bank balance a lot less.
Oh,
when you can do it that way.
undoubtedly.
How many times have you blagged your way into business class, Carlos?
3 times since I've been doing long
You
haul.
are such a jammy...
Twice
Jaffa
by
cake.
emailing the airline before I went. And
What sub story did you give them to make your life?
Yes, I want to know your top tips for this. Tell the listeners
and
the top tips.
the other time was when I offered the crew some treats and they moved me into
yes,
premium.
that works quite often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
on Emirates. I bought a really nice box of chocolates. And
it was a £3
They
box of
couldn't have
roses.
given a rat's what's it. They really couldn't.
But do you know, we talk about this on the show, and we have done before. That I have said a few times to some people I work with, one of which who flew home last Christmas to her family, and she done the box of chocolates thing because I told her to, and they upgraded her.
Right.
It does work. I mean, it doesn't work every time.
Matt's problem is there's like 3,000 crew on an A380.
Well, there
so
is
one
that.
box of
Yeah,
chocolates
absolutely,
isn't going to do it.
Yeah, it's just like
You need to get
one
the right one.
measly box. I mean, they were nice as well. They were Thorntons. They were they were a quality brand. But
I would have upgraded you for that.
Yeah. You went,
Dirk S.
you
says
went on my flight though.
Dirk
didn't you?
S. says Carlos showed his PTUK badge and they obeyed.
Really? Usually, what happens is when you show that card, they kick you off the flight.
Surprising-
Escorted off the aircraft, yes.
absolutely.
Surprisingly enough,
Yeah, here we
the
go.
first time I blagged my way into biz was with BA, and that was just through doing the chocolates thing.
I don't think I ever forgave you when we were lucky enough to have a tour of Heathrow's air traffic control tower.
Oh no!
We'd gone there to that, and we went to go and get a coffee. And do you know what he did, Andy? Do you know what he did, Andy?
Don't, because there's someone will hear and I'll
No,
never
I don't
get
care.
it
I don't
again.
care because I want to make sure you never get that ever again. He flashed his PTUK badge at Nero Coffee, and they gave him a free coffee. Because they
I'll
thought
tell
it was
you
some
what.
kind of, I don't know, I was furious.
That lad'll go far. He'll go far.
I honestly, if you could do anything in life and you can blag it for free or a lot cheap, you've got to do it. That's what life is all about.
I don't know. Somebody probably lost their job off the back of that.
Yeah, but not so long back when in our group chat, Nev was saying that he was travelling through Heathrow. I think must have been Heathrow he was travelling through because Nev travels through Heathrow all the time.
Yeah.
And Nev, I think he'd had a meeting with our good friend Adam or someone at Heathrow, and Nev had his PTK lanyard on with the name, the photo, the name badge, and Nev got a staff discount at Costa because they thought he was staff.
Right. Okay.
So
I mean, he's there so much they probably thought he was.
probably
to be
did,
fair,
yeah, exactly. But yeah,
Indeed.
Andy's now thinking, right, when I go on holiday next time, I'm going to wear my PTK. So this is what I mean.
No. Why would he do that? If he was really that worried about it, he'd just travel in his uniform.
Oh, God,
Oh dear, no. What I do, Carlos, I just pay for it, mate.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, well, because
Andy.
he's an Airbus captain.
Mr. Moneybags.
Yeah, all right.
No, the key is you buy these flights in sales. That's when you do it.
Ah.
Yeah, Absolutely.
I'm northern, you know.
Yeah,
I don't want to
true.
spend that much money.
No. I'm amazed you pay for coffee. I'm surprised you don't bring it with you. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, coffee. Oh, no, I thought you were talking about the flight. I don't
All
even
right,
drink
all right,
that
no,
filth.
no,
No,
I
I
don't-
don't drink that stuff.
Richard Adams says in the chat room, just mention that you are a friend of the great Sir Nev.
Right.
Yeah.
Once again, I think I do fear that that's one of the things that would probably ensure your exit from the lounge. But
In
yeah,
all
absolutely.
seriousness, guys and girls listening, if you are nice, polite, kind to the crew, they will, mostly 9 times out of 10, they will look after you.
Yeah.
If you're not, because there are a lot of people who are not very nice to crew.
No, indeed. Dirk S is saying, by the way, it won't work, Richard Adams, as hundreds of people are trying this every single day,
Oh.
pretending that they know Sir Nev.
He's a
Don't-
popular bloke.
He's a
link-
well-known bloke. That's definitely
Links at the end of the show to get yourself a PTK t-shirt for those of you wanting to upgrade.
Are they?
Anyway,
I think if you're going to try and get yourself into business class, you need the button-up shirt, don't you?
yeah,
Oh yes, yeah. We don't sell
Polo
those,
shirt.
I'm afraid. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Even better. Well, I'm going to wear that next time.
Andy's wearing his shirt next time. Here we go.
Indeed.
Right, Andy, on the subject
Yes.
of your fine self, you've got the last story here, and I thought you'd be quite good to sort of comment on this.
Yeah, okay, this is from BrookfieldAV.com, and it's Aviation Union's call on FAA to halt new medical certificate rules. A coalition of 14 unions and pilots associations, including the Airline Pilots Association, ALPA, Allied Pilots Association, APA, and the Flight School Association of North America, have penned an open letter to the FAA. The group urges the FAA to delay and reconsider implementing new rules for medical certificate applications set to take place and become effective on January the 1st this year. The FAA's new policy marks a significant departure from its current practice of deferring applications that require additional information. Under the revised rules, medical certificates will be initially denied if more information is needed. According to the unions, this shift stems from the FAA's interpretation of Section 801 of the FAA Reauthorization Act 2024, which addresses general aviation regulations concerning the re-examination of pilots or certificate holders. The union expressed concerns about the potential impacts of this change, stating the FAA's use of denials instead of the currently used deferral as a routine part of the medical application process will significantly increase unneeded confusion for applicants and introduce unintended consequences for those under initial denial. One of the most pressing issues highlighted in the letter is the potential impact on pilots' future career prospects. Medical denials would need to be reported on future applications, including employment applications. This could lead to confusion among hiring managers and create unnecessary barriers for pilots. The ramifications of an increase in airmen receiving and reporting medical denials on these applications and the need to educate hiring managers about this change they are significant and will take considerable time, the letter stated. While the unions acknowledge the FAA's commitment to enhancing medical certification processes, they argued that the new policy contradicts the regulator's goal of expediting approvals. They noted that the submission of complete and accurate information during the initial application process would be a more effective way to reduce administrative burdens and improve outcomes for applicants. The letter also emphasised the importance of system modernisation and transparency both for applicants and their aviation medical examiners. The unions expressed a strong desire to work collaboratively with the FAA to refine the process. Members of the aviation industry remain committed to maintaining a cooperative relationship with the FAA to address concerns about these policy changes. In the collaborative environment that you have fostered, we urge the FAA to stay the implementation of this medical certificate policy change, the letter concluded. We encourage aviation professionals and stakeholders to share their feedback with the FAA on these proposed changes to ensure that policies support the industry's growth while safeguarding pilots' careers. Oh, right. It's an interesting one, that. And I can sort of see it from both sides.
Yeah.
So if you just deny the application because you don't have the information, I guess, is this based on, I'm just looking back to see if it's initial or renewals or revalidations, because those three things are all very different. It doesn't say if it applies to everything. So say you go to have your medical renewed and they go, oh, we need this information, then suddenly, bam, they deny it. I can see how that's a bit like, oh, but also it stops people flying with a medical that isn't correct. which is the way it should be. And unions, I mean, I am a member of a union. They do like to kick off a fuss about most things at the best of times. It's interesting about the whole, you have to report if you've had a medical denied when applying for a job. But I'm sure that wouldn't take much to educate the industry that, right, this is the new method of doing it. And here's the reason why we denied it. We needed more information. Because then that's simply, oh, okay, yeah, that was just, they needed more info and then they got their medical. I don't see the issue there, really. But I'm not in America.
But again, is it because people are nervous about? Because I suppose it is. Of course, it's absolutely 100% relevant to the job. I get that, but also it is a very private thing. So it's like unless there is a really really good or valid reason, I can kind of understand why you don't feel like you want to be able. You know, if it's not relevant, it's a bit like car insurance in some respects. If it's not relevant, why do you have to declare it? Like,
okay, well, I mean, it comes to
because like with your car insurance, it's like 5 years, isn't it? You have to declare things for 5 years with your insurance company, even if they've like license convictions and things, they come off your license after 3 years. I guess it is more complicated when it's medical. Yeah,
when it comes to flying, they're not asking for, tell me the exact medical reason why this is. Like the employers, they just want to know if it was a medical. In this case, they want to know, was it a medical reason or was it an administrative reason?
Right.
If it was an admin reason, they can go, all right, it must be the new system, and oh look, yeah, they've given them the information they need. They now have a medical, no problem. But if they've been denied in the past, and somehow got a medical, I don't see again how they can use that as fuel against not hiring you. But again, America's got very different sort of rules around. I mean, you can be called into an office in a job in America, can't you? Be told, you're sacked, go on, with no reason needed. Whereas in the UK and Europe, you couldn't do that. So yeah, I see that side of things. You can't go asking people why did this happen, but they just want to see if it's something so simple like this, that there was a bit of information missing, then I'm sure that can be explained away.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, unfortunately, when it comes to aviation and medicals, obviously you need to keep you in good health. You can't be flying around an aeroplane in good health.
I do get that, but it's... Yeah, no, I completely get that.
How often do you have to sit your medical hand as a pilot in the UK?
It's once a year until you're 45, then it's every 6 months until you're 65.
Oh wow, okay.
Blimey. And I'm guessing that's not a 10-minute job in a surgery with a tap on a knee with a hammer and.
No, it's an hour at least.
Yeah.
And then there's certain beyond 40. So next year, I've got to have an ECG every year, whereas before it was every couple of years and a hearing test every couple of years. But as you get older and you start to fall apart, they want to check all these vital organs.
Which is fair, I suppose.
Yeah. But
it is.
But
fair.
Again, as doctors said to me, your medical is only good until you walk out of that door.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Anything can happen the second you walk out of that door.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's sort of a regulatory
requirement,
attempt at safeguarding. Really, it's better than doing nothing.
Yeah.
Obviously, if there's something major. But somebody could have a medical, go fly an aircraft the next day and have a massive heart attack and crash, It's just the way it goes.
And it wouldn't show up. It wouldn't necessarily have shown up on...
No,
indeed. I get that. Yeah.
Well, there we go. Happy end to the commercial news segment for this week.
Yeah.
Right, it's time for the next part of the show, which for some is their favourite part of the show, especially Dirk. It's his favourite part of the show. It is, of course, time for this week's retro airline ad.
I haven't downloaded
of
that.
the
Where
week.
Is that?
It's in the NAS drive.
Oh dear. Okay, right.
But we'll carry on speaking. Actually, what we will just talk about quickly, Andy, is obviously the what has happened since we finished just before Christmas with the incidents that have happened. We did think we'd sort of wait a little while before we sort of go back to touch on these before the when the investigation's going on.
The dust to settle on
but,
it a bit, I suppose.
It's been a funny last sort of kind of 4 weeks, really, isn't it, Andy, for the aviation industry across the globe?
there's been a lot going on. There's been many incidents.
Yeah.
Of course, the big one in Korea, which I won't. Obviously, I'm not going to speculate. The bit that still puzzles me, and I'm really looking forward to the report, is why on earth
The
there
brick
was a lump
solid
of
wall.
concrete,
Yeah.
at the end of the runway, and that incident looks like it could be used as an example of for CRM for many years to come on the initial outset. But best to wait till the reports on all of these. But yeah, there was just sort of a spate, wasn't there? If there was that one, there was the landing gear collapse, there was the aircraft in Ireland that landed on its nose. There was so much happened over the space of about a week.
It was a busy week. I know we were chatting amongst ourselves in our group chat about all the incidents that were happening across, and obviously with most of them there was lots of media coverage, and especially with the one in Korea, there was so much video from different angles of that incident. But such a sad thing as well, because
Yeah.
It shouldn't have been as bad as it was had there not have been that concrete wall at the end of that runway, for sure.
Yeah, that it's going to be really interesting to see the cockpit voice recorder and the flight data recorder put against all of the video footage that they've got of that incident. Yeah, I mean, it was tragic as well, the ending of it, and it happened so quick as well. I think the Mayday call went in 3 minutes before the accident.
Yeah.
Which is not a lot of time.
Wow.
Yes, and obviously there was the Kazakhstan one. Was it the Embraer, Andy, the 175? Yeah.
Another one. Unfortunately, we now know something hit it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it was a valiant effort, really. Much like I think it's been compared to United Airlines 232 as well,
Yes.
when they had
that's it.
loss of control as well. And again, caught on film. I mean, you can't go anywhere without somebody with a camera these days.
No.
No.
And also, thankfully, in a kind of important way, a lot of the CCTV cameras now are steadily becoming a little bit more clearer than what they used to be with things like this.
Yeah.
But it's been a hectic, busy week, or I say weeks, I should say, since we finished at Christmas.
Yes, because we've been off
time.
for a couple of weeks, haven't we? So
Yeah, but hopefully they will find out. Well, not just the causes, but obviously also why these incidents and accidents happened. So there we go.
Indeed.
Right. Are you ready, Mr. Smith?
I am, yes.
Right. It's time for Dirk's favourite part of the show, the Retro Airline ad of the week. And this week, we are going back to 1973. My word, Matt.
Ooh,
1973.
that's 3 years before we were born.
I know. And to a time when airliners were big and the L1011 was king. Just watch the video, just check out the cabin space and seat pitch on these amazing aircraft.
You're looking at $18 million worth of airplane. It's the Delta TriStar, the newest jet in Delta Airlines' wide ride fleet. Like to take a tour before the passengers come aboard? The 3 cabins on the TriStar are wider than most living rooms, 19 feet wall to wall. The ceiling is 8 feet high. All 250 seats here in first class and here in tourist are roomy 2x2. You have handy coat racks between each pair of center seats. And these compartments overhead for carry-on things. This is the below-deck galley where your meal is cooked and rushed by serving cart up in this elevator and onto your tray table piping hot. You could enjoy your favorite music with your meals too. The Delta TriStar isn't just big. It's big on creature comforts too. Welcome aboard. Delta is ready when you are.
There we go.
Wow. I mean, I'm not going to lie, that delivery is a bit dry.
I was just looking at the beauty of that airframe.
Oh, I know.
Oh, not you as well. What?
Andy's got good taste.
What is it that I'm not getting about the TriStar L10 11? What am I missing? Why is it gorgeous?
Stunning.
I don't get it.
Stunning.
It's a beautiful aircraft, and from a technological point of view, it introduced many things that are still used today.
Okay. All right. Fair. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But did you see that when he was in that cabin, just how large that cabin was inside? And the seat, the guy sat in the seat there, and it's probably an economy seat, and it was literally like the space you get in a business class seat nowadays.
True. Yeah.
But that's back when the airline seats were comfortable, and they actually had foam in, rather than something that's probably about the width of this napkin that I'm holding in my hand here.
Very good. Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
But yes. And
sell them cheap.
Exactly, yeah. And don't forget, Captain Jeff, our friend Captain Jeff, was he was back in his Delta days was a pilot on with the L1011.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was lucky enough. Yeah.
And the 707, I seem to remember.
I don't know about the 707.
Not the 727.
727. Right. God, Jeff, honestly, if you're listening.
I don't know.
Disregard Matt.
Yeah. Okay. But he also flew the C-141 Starlifter as well for the military, so he had a good career, did Captain Jeff. But Captain Cruz has just said in the chat room before we move on, he said, Captain Cruz says, $18 million for a TriStar? Sounds like a bargain.
It does, absolutely.
Especially when I've got a piece in my office indoors on the wall.
How much do you think that would be worth now?
Well, it's worth a few quid. It's the next RAF one, yeah. XBA.
I'll tell you what it's worth. Today, 127 million.
Oh, okay, right. What the piece he's got on the wall?
No,
or like...
That's inflation for you.
It's inflation, yeah.
Indeed.
Right, it's time to do some military news. So if everyone's ready for some grey stuff,
we'll give it a go. Here we go. Let's press the button, see what happens.
What's up, Buggies 135. The Angel 16. Heading 340. Okay. Now, St. Buggy.
And the first one this week comes from the defenceblog.com. Thanks to Armando for dropping these in this week as well into the show notes. And it's the France sends the first batch of Mirage jets over to the Ukraine. So the first batch of French Mirage 2000-5 fighter jets set to arrive in the Ukraine by the 20th of this month, January the 20th, 2025, according to reports from Aviation Légendaires. The initial batch is expected to include 3 to 6 aircraft, which will likely replace the Ukraine's aging fleet of Su-24 bombers. These Mirage 2000-5 jets, originally part of the French Air and Space Force inventory, have been retrofitted with advanced capabilities by France's Director General of Armaments, or the DGA. Designed primarily as interceptors, the modified jets are now equipped to carry and deploy Scalp EG and Storm Shadow cruise missiles, both of which are currently in Ukraine's arsenal. The deal for the Mirage 2000 jets was the result of a prolonged negotiations between France, their President Emmanuel Macron, and Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. The transfer underscores France's commitment to bolstering Ukraine's defence capabilities. And similar to earlier contributors, the Caesars howitzers and AMX-10RC armoured vehicles, the Mirage jets highlight the depth of French military support. The Mirage 2000 jets will join the growing list of Western aircraft supplied to the Ukraine, including General Dynamics F-16 Fighting Falcons, which we reported on last year. While smaller and lighter compared to the Soviet-era MiG-29s or the Su-27s, the Mirage jets are highly manoeuvrable and capable of delivering precision strike, and Ukrainian pilots have reportedly praised the aircraft's agility and combat effectiveness. Although official sources have not confirmed the jet's current operational status, there are indications that training flights are already underway. The first operational sorties are anticipated shortly after the formal delivery. Deployment of the Mirage 2000 jets strengthen the Ukraine's ability to counter Russian aerial threats and launch precision strikes against critical targets. The jet's capability with long-range cruise missiles significantly extends their operational reach, enabling strikes deep within enemy-held territory if necessary. The delivery marks also the first European-designed and manufactured combat aircraft to be transferred to the Ukraine, following the earlier arrival of the American-made F-16s. The inclusion of the Mirage jets further diversifies Ukraine's Air Force capabilities, providing a blend of Western technology advancements. So, good on them. They're obviously not short of aircraft and land-based stuff now, but how long is this going to go on, guys? Honestly, this whole thing, it must be, 3 years are we in now for the war in Ukraine?
Coming up, February,
3 years, yeah. Honestly, things need to change this year. 2025 needs to be the year this is put to bed, finally. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got a really bad feeling. I don't think there's any end in sight. If I'm honest with you, but I guess it is what it is, isn't it? At the end of the day.
So, Matt, do you want the next one? Are you all right with that?
Yeah. No, I can go.
Okay.
I'll give it a go. I was loading some other stuff up, but that's all right. That's fine. We can do this.
Don't panic.
Absolutely. Yes. Nobody panic. He's got his phone primed and ready. AsiaTimes.com is the source for this, and the headline is "What UK fighter pilots did and didn't teach China's PLA." Now, forgive me. What does PLA mean?
Oh no, I did know what that was.
Hopefully, it'll become clear.
People's Liberation Army.
Well done, Andy.
Okay, lovely. Okay, anyway, a clutch of retired British pilots have been banned from re-entering the United Kingdom's defence sector after they were found to have trained the People's Liberation Army in China 2 years ago. The pilots were among those from the United States, Europe, South Africa and South America who served in a flight training school in places I'm not even going to try and attempt to. It is a school in Guan in China, I want to say. Apologies if that's awful. According to the UK-based Livingston Aerospace Ltd, which was sanctioned by the US in July of this year. In an exclusive interview with Asia Times, a Livingston aerospace spokesperson who requested anonymity sought to set the record straight on the company's controversial work in China. The work has always been for TFASA, Test Flying Academy of South Africa, the spokesperson said. I would describe it as a business development and project management of test flying related matters in and for China. The biggest thing that took up most of the time was establishing a test pilot school in China, which was a big undertaking, and it was all going very well until COVID struck, he said. The school was in a couple of locations based around the Guan test base, not far from Xi'an. We had around 10 instructors and 100 students go through. He said that the students were in their late 20s and early 30s and had all been flying for some time. He said that some students were very good while the remaining were just average. He said the 15-month-long flight testing course included 100 hours of flying 40 different types of airplanes, plus academics, commuting and report writing. He said test pilots play a vital role in the safety and certification of any airplane. He said during that time, Livingston Airspace was aware that its flight test techniques would be used by the PLA, but he said that flight testing is a completely different matter from what the TFASA was engaged in, and the training of operational military pilots with techniques, tactics, and procedures. Nobody was teaching anything that would jeopardise the interests of our friends and colleagues who stayed in the Royal Air Force, he stressed. We're not giving away secrets. There's nothing that was being taught that's not available online anyway. However, the UK and US governments held different views as they accused the TFASA, Livingston Airspace, and 18 other companies of having provided training to Chinese military pilots using Western and NATO sources.
So I suppose if you've got really good pilots who are good at what they do, you don't want them to tell everyone all their best secrets and the best ways of flying aircraft, I suppose. I think that's what they are trying to get with the story.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's,
I mean, teach them how to fly, just not all the good stuff. Yeah.
I mean, are we sure they were doing what's being alleged here? I
don't know. We've got our resident trainer with us on the show, obviously, haven't we? Tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's very up on this particular story.
I don't know. That's just one person's opinion. Well, try to defend what they were doing. Well, clearly the UK and the US are not happy,
No.
so they've all been sanctioned. They want to be lucky that they haven't actually been arrested for this sort of stuff, to be honest.
No, exactly. But sanctions is very different, because surely if there had been a breach of and all that kind of thing, then there would be some kind of military, sort of more than sanctions, essentially.
We don't want to get political.
No, good point.
If we're going to talk about anything on the show, we need to talk about food.
Okay.
Which is nearly all gone now.
Yeah, working on it.
Matt's just got a few more bits to devour.
No, I've had loads. God no. Anyway, by the way.
Right, so it's time to talk about the caption list just for fun pick of the week. Now, I don't know whether it's because I stuck this on late this week.
Good news, by the way. With
You
my
found it.
iPhone,
With his
I was able
his
to put it
iPhone.
on. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, so I did stick it on a bit late this week, so we haven't had that huge amount of comments, but I'm sure the chat room will probably fill in with some comments on this one. But just looking here there we go. Matt's going to pop the picture up on the screen for those of you who are watching on the world of YouTube. And this is of... Matt's not going to know this one because he's not seen the film yet. I know, scandalous.
I know it's from Airplane. I know that.
But we have had a few comments on this one. Paul Tricker says, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Otto, your captain speaking. Today's flight is looking good with clear skies, right? Although it may become a bit blowy later. Have a good flight. Darren Smith, our very own resident Oslo listener, says, Ryanair's new pilotless planes are a big hit with the kids. I suppose they would be, having Otto at the front there. John Luke Picard says Warner Brothers announced a sequel to Airplane. The leading actor was interviewed and said he's really pumped up for the opportunity. You can't keep a good man down. Mm-hmm. I suppose not with a good punch repair kit.
Right.
Neil Draper says due to the high costs of inflation, the Otto has been made redundant. Oh. Right, so have we got any in the chat room, Matt?
We do have, first of all, Paul Tricker. Now, Paul, I don't know, you've obviously been missing for a few episodes, yeah. Paul is absolutely horrified that I've still never seen Airplane. Yeah, I probably should have watched it over again.
Ooh.
He's also suggesting it's rather scandalous. I think that's a bit strong, but yeah, anyway, that's fair enough. Yeah, we do have a few. So this one is for Andy. It says that the first officer had an inflated opinion of himself. That's Richard Adams made it very personal and said Andy's new FO had a very inflated opinion of his own skills, which I think is I do feel like that's something you might say, Andy. I don't, terribly.
No, absolutely not at all.
No, too much. Okay. And then, sort of moving on with some of the other, but I'm trying to pop them up on the screen.
Dirk says, when hearing on the flight deck, it's even less welcome.
Is very much not welcome indeed. What else have we got there? We've got Captain Cruz saying that Otto sitting on a couch, as that is obviously a house door. Yeah, good point, well made. Handle in the back and not a cockpit door. Yeah, no, that's
there we go.
Yeah, you the expert on this silly film that you keep going on about. Yeah, Paul Tricker is still furious and says, "Please rectify this immediately."
I know
yeah,
too.
Absolutely. And Jennifer is saying you can buy an autopilot. You can buy. I think this is a genuine.
I think it's genuine. Genuine from Jen.
An autopilot at Sporty's Pilot Shop. Right. Okay.
Can you actually buy an actual autopilot?
I feel like this is something you're going to put in this studio now. You're going to order one now, aren't you? Yeah.
We'll be doing a live show next week, and then Matt will switch to my camera. I'll be like,
and there he'll be popping up.
Do you know what? I've just looked it up. It is very cheap. It's only $60.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
And only $4,000 to ship it to the UK.
Over to the UK.
You need one of those in the studio.
Right, okay.
Should we just get one each?
100%.
Should we just get one each?
I don't
the
want
whole
one.
show with just Ottos.
A whole show with Ottos.
You'll have to paint a beard on mine.
Good point. Well made. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That could be done.
All right. Okay. Not really sure what to do with that information. As I say, Paul Tricker is still raging from what I can see in the chat room.
No.
But there we go.
I've never actually looked to see what rating that got on IMDb. I'm not going to actually look because I use IMDb for all my my film things to find out how good films are. Here we go. 1980, that came out.
1980?
Airplane. I know,
Oh my God.
1980 Airplane came out, was released. On IMDb, it's got a rating of 7.7 out of 10.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, but that is it one of those though where it's is it one of those where it's like
Really good? Yes.
no, but it's just like I mean I remember watching films when I was a lot younger,
Younger.
and then I watched them again and I just think, why did I think this was such a brilliant film?
Actually, Matt, it was released in August 1980.
How does that make any difference to the?
Oh, I don't know.
It's just, it was it was released in the middle of the year rather than at the end or at the
Well, it was
beginning.
released in August. That was always a good month.
Right, okay.
But as
that's it.
per usual, Airplane 2, the sequel,
Oh. They made
Right.
two of them. Don't make me watch that one as well.
was 6.2 out of 10. It was not as good as the first one. but,
Right, shocker.
That's true, yeah.
Absolute
Yeah.
shocker. Yeah, Andy's glazed over.
And he's fell asleep.
Yeah.
Have you
Sorry,
seen
what?
Have you seen Airplane, Andy?
Yeah, once or twice in the past, yeah.
Oh, okay. See, look, Andy's seen it.
Yeah, no, fair. Yeah. There we go. Anyway, can we start wrapping up now, please?
Yes, okay, fair enough.
Andy is exhausted.
Andy's
He's annoyed
exhausted.
down in
Yeah,
the
he needs to go to
dark
bed.
room. Yeah.
Right, we are going to wrap the show up. Look, have a look at social media links where you can find us. Obviously, as we were talking about earlier, about getting upgraded on into business class, you need a PTUK T-shirt.
I don't think that'll help.
Okay, fair enough. Social media links. You can find us on the Book of Face. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram. Search the social medias for Plain Talking UK. Don't forget, if you want to send us a picture or send us some feedback, we'd love to hear from you on the show. Podcast.
Also, yeah, sorry,
Yes.
carry on. Yeah.
Oh, podcast at plaintalkinguk.com is that email address. That's podcast at plaintalkinguk.com.
.com. And the good news is, next week we will be sharing with you
Oh, I know what you're
our
going to say.
new WhatsApp number.
Yes.
We finally have WhatsApp.
We finally
back up and
have
running.
a new
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
a new WhatsApp number as well.
Yeah, I couldn't get the old one back, basically.
No, so we've got a new WhatsApp number.
Long story short, I'm an idiot. It was a pay-as-you-go SIM card, which I forgot about, and then after 180 days without putting any credit on it, they turned it off,
Oh.
and then I couldn't have it back. So there we go. That's basically what went wrong. So we've got a new number. It doesn't quite trip off the tongue like the other one did, but mind you, we got sort of used to it when we
We
were
did,
doing
yeah.
on
The
New
kitchen
Year's
disco
Eve, didn't
New
we?
Year's
So
Eve, yeah.
So a new WhatsApp number will be being shared, and that will be on Carlos's, so you'll be able to access Carlos.
Thanks.
All the
Woohoo.
time, yeah. Any time of the day. And I particularly recommend, sort of like 2,
When
3
my
in the
phone's
morning.
on silent.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, you can find out more about the team on our website, which hopefully, fingers crossed, will be updated soon. There's some work needs to be done with that.
It does, yeah.
Obviously, got to put Andy's beautiful picture on there as
what a
well.
treat.
You can find more details over there. It's all the w's.plaintalkinguk.com. You'll also see the links on there to our shop, where you can get yourself one of those upgrade T-shirts, the PTK T-shirt.
Which won't work because they want you to wear a button-up shirt.
Okay, right. You can get that on there. You can also get yourself a mug if you want to look really
You're a
good.
mug, never
If
mind
you
that.
want to look really cool, you can get yourself a PTK mug. And also, if you're like Jonathan Warner and you love military stuff, you can also get yourself a grey mug, the military grey mug as well, which is also good. And also links on the website to find out how you can become a Patreon member. Thank you to Ruben Wells, become a new Patreon member again this month, so thank you, Ruben. And also you can find links on there to PayPal as well if you've got a couple of quid spare after the Christmas period to help purchase a cable or two. I think we have a few upgrades in the system for
Oh,
this
do we?
year, cabling
Do we?
wise.
Oh, do we? Why? What are you planning?
I'm going to do a huge link between me and you
Oh,
from the
gosh.
PTK Master Suite Studio to
Okay,
the
right.
Master Suite Studio Point 1.
Okay.
Yeah. At
Studio
yes,
B.
Studio
Yeah.
B, exactly, yeah. So that's it. That's where we are going to wrap up the show. Quick round robin. Andy, what are you up to next week?
Oh, next week is busy. Monday, up to Edinburgh to fly to Milan. Tuesday, Milan, fly to Heathrow that night. Meeting in Heathrow on Wednesday, then down to Gatwick. Meeting in Gatwick on Thursday, then back home.
Oh, blimey.
So no flying?
Just as a passenger.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Well, they let you do a bit of that then.
Yeah.
You never know. You might get the call, Is there anyone who can fly a plane on board?
Right.
The types I'll be flying on, yes, I can fly them.
Yeah. Okay.
there we
fair,
go.
Yeah, okay,
You're
there we
laughing.
are, yeah. Plan B.
All the
Yeah.
way. Oh, there we go. Right,
Indeed.
good. Mr. Smith, any exciting things going on in the world this weekend?
No, lots of radio station meetings. 'Cause
Ooh.
somebody's back from holiday, so we have
Oh,
much
yes,
to discuss.
The boss,
obviously.
our boss is back.
Yeah, but other than that, just work and like a couple of doctor's appointments that are very
fun.
unexciting. But yeah,
Fun,
no,
fun, fun.
indeed, absolutely. We're trying to get a few sort of minor issues sorted out. So that'll be the highlight, I think, this week.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I want to say a personal special thanks to everyone who did tune in to our live stream Kitchen Disco on New Year's Eve. Matt was in here. He was controlling things, and I was in the kitchen just over there. And we, this time, for just a change, for something different, we actually decided this time to raise money for charity. And we chose the East Anglian Air Ambulance, which is a service that is not funded by the government. It is funded purely by donations and charity stuff, and we decided to donate to them. And at the end of the night and the next morning, I think we wrapped up and we got 300 quid.
We did.
Yeah. So we were live for 3 hours, so it's £100 an hour, which is great. So
going.
Yeah, so we donated that to the East Anglian Air Ambulance, a great charity who are very important, do some very important work here. And I'll tell you what, Matt, when I was looking at their website the other day, I didn't realise it costs over £4,000 for each time they scramble and go and do a job somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
It's not cheap.
It's quite frightening, really, as you say.
Yeah.
It's sort of mad bonkers that it's a service that
is not funded.
Oh.
No.
Also, another service that was provided by Matt on Christmas Day, his Christmas Day show on Park Radio. Fantastic. Kept me going while I was cooking.
Oh. Yes, that was a good show. We had you on as well.
Yeah, no, it was good fun. It was a lot of fun, actually. Really enjoyed that. It was and all the Christmas cracker jokes. Mad, you're all mad as a box of frogs.
Yeah, I did. We tuned in. We had it on while me and Gemma and Dave and Nigel were unwrapping, or they were unwrapping their gifts.
Right, were they?
And
the cats were actually unwrapping their gifts.
To be fair, they were.
Right. Oh, right. Okay.
I did hear Andy's very kind donation to the joke fund.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd been up for about 4 or 5 hours by then, Carlos. I don't get much chance to lie in on Christmas Day with children, So
that is
absolutely,
true.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, that's it for episode 533 of the show. Big thanks to everyone who's tuned in this week to the show. Thank you ever so much to you all for tuning into our first live show of 2025. We'll be back next Wednesday, hopefully, fingers crossed, with the full team quota on board. And so thanks again. Have a great rest of the week. Have a great weekend. And from me and Matt here in the B studio, PTUK B studio, and from Andy over in his studio as well. Have a great weekend and see you next week. Say goodbye, Andy. Goodbye.
That's a bit
abrupt.
swift.
Very abrupt.
That was very...
What happened there?
Blimey.
Your fingers.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to work out. No, it cut. This is why I've done it from here, you see, because there's lots of little gremlins that just needed working out. So I will now correct that. But still, never mind. All part of the fun.
Oh, it worked well.
Ish. Yeah, no, there's still some issues. So I need to not pause after doing a transition. That's what the issue is. And not mix the audio. So we just do that. And then
Thanks, Paul.
That'll go. Yeah, nice to see you, Paul. We haven't seen you
Yeah,
for a
thanks,
while,
Paul.
Actually. Yeah.
And thanks, Masha and Jen. Love to see Jen back in the chat room again. It's been so long. It's been about 1,000 years, Jen, since you were last in the chat room.
Busy lady, you see, that's the trouble.
She is a busy lady. Yeah.
Oh.
Masha says, great to have us back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll all be back next week.
I'll see what I can do in the mobile studio.
Oh, yes.
Oh. Let's hope so. Yeah. Absolutely.
At least it's warmer in here now.
Oh, it is, yeah. It wasn't cold before. It's just.
Well, it's because I had the heating on for 2 hours before we came in here.
Yeah, absolutely. It was nice and toasty in here.
That is the only thing about having a garage conversion, is it?
Yeah, don't feel too sorry for him. He can turn it on remotely. He doesn't have to come in here.
I didn't even bother attempting to heat up the pub. It's like it's -4 out there with feels like -18 temperature.
Right, okay,
It's like I'm
right,
not bothering tonight.
It's a bit windy out there, is it, at the moment?
It's a bit nippy.
I actually, Porter, who you know, Matt, sent me a picture before we went live. He lives down in Brighton, and they've got quite the covering of snow.
Oh, have they?
Yes.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Love
Right,
that.
we better let these boys
Yes,
and girls get
indeed.
back to their evening. We are gonna, we're gonna have a debrief, and we're gonna hit the scotch on the rocks.
Are we now?
No.
Right, okay.
Right, now here we go. This just for a change this week. Andy, would you like to?
Oh, hang on.
Oh,
God,
no,
hang on. No,
hold
I got to bring the. Hang on, I'm pressing.
Hold on, Matt's pressing.
I'm frantically pressing some buttons here. Hang on.
Oh, gold.
Hang on.
Matt's looking for upgrades with PTK t-shirts.
Is it? Oh, for God's sake! The man is obsessed. What? Are you?
Are you ready to switch
yeah,
camera?
Yeah. Okay.
back
Yeah.
to
Good now.
Andy.
Yeah,
There we go.
Yeah.
Right, just for a change this week, Andy, would you like to say au revoir to all our lovely listeners?
I've been watching a documentary about Jerry Springer recently, so this feels like Jerry's final words, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Carry on.
Thanks all for joining us. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next week.